What is up, guys? In today's video, I'm going to be going over some tips that should help you get higher kill games in the zero build mode. So most of my content in zero builds thus far has been focused around just like getting wins or playing better. Today's video, we're going to be pushing it a little bit more, enforcing more fights, and explaining how you can get higher kills in this game mode. If you guys do enjoy this video or find it helpful, informative, remember to give it a like, subscribe if you would like to see more, and comment down below what your highest kill game is so far this season in zero build. I think mine is 25 or 26. I'm not sure exactly. I haven't been playing it that much, and I've been mostly playing normals, but comment down below what your highest kill game is in zero builds. And then before we get into the content in today's video, this video is sponsored by the Coldest Water. They make insulated water bottles that are designed to keep your water cold for up to 36 hours. There will be a link down in the description where you can check them out. They make a really good product. It holds large quantities of water, and it does work. The water stays cold for a really long time. So this is going to be self-explanatory, this first point, but to get a lot of kills, you're going to need to run into a lot of people, and the easiest way to do that is by understanding rotations and by landing at a spot where you can get a good amount of kills off spawn. So the places that I like to land for a lot of kills this season, I think Rocky Reels works really well because of the blimps and the shockwaves that it has, but Command Center can also be a good spot. Coney Crossroads can be a good spot. Greasy can be a good spot. What you want is a spot that is either going to be early and a lot of people are going to go to, like Greasy, for example, or a spot that's going to be somewhat central, still attract a lot of people, and have good rotations out. That's why I think Rocky is really good, because it kind of fits all of these boxes. It has a blimp with rotation as of the time making this video. Obviously, the blimps will crash over time. And then at the time making this video, there's also an NPC there that sells shockwaves, which I think are really helpful in the zero build mode. And they're going to be really helpful for pushing people and finishing your kills, which is important for getting high kill games. There's also a lot of coolers there, so you can get splashes off spawn. I think Rocky is kind of like the best spot for getting high kills in the zero build mode. I think Command Cavern or Command Center would work really well as well, but I just don't like that POI personally. I haven't gone there very much at all. Just like, I don't like how much AI is there, the music going on. It's just never really a POI I learned, and that's why I don't go there. But I think Rocky, Command, or Greasy would be a good starting point. Like I said, Rocky has so much, and for getting a lot of kills, you're going to want to abuse the mobility in the game as much as possible. So being able to land Rocky Reels and clear it out, and then go up on your blimp and then check all of the surrounding area, because you can see so much from the blimps, gives you so much info on what's going on. If you see people fighting in the desert area or towards the gas station that's kind of in between Rocky and Sanctuary, you can look over towards Tilted a bit. You could just see so much from the blimp and then play accordingly. You can also shoot yourself from a cannon to one of the cannons that's outside Tilted and shoot yourself onto the Tilted blimp from that one. So you can quickly clear Coney and then shoot yourself over to Tilted and start killing people there. And then when you're done there, you can start just shoot yourself over towards Coney. I think taking advantage of these cannons and taking advantage of the blimps is one of the best ways to find a lot of players and just to travel the map really quickly. If you land at a spot where there isn't any of these cannons or there isn't any of these blimps, cars can also work quite well, and having a cow catcher on a car will actually be really helpful if you want to push somebody. You have mobile cover in the car as well, so take advantage of mobility as much as possible if you're going to want to fight people. If you're going to go for high kill games, that way you can just kind of reduce the amount of time in between fights, and if you do that, you're going to be able to get into more fights and you're going to be able to get more kills per game. The next thing is just going to be rotations. So like I said, you want to pick a spot where there's going to be a lot of people, but when you're on the bus, look at the other locations that are early on the bus angle or that the bus goes right over. Those are typically going to be the hot spots, and you want to make note of that. You know, if you think Greasy, Tilted, and Rocky are going to be hot, you probably want to rotate towards Tilted after Rocky and maybe check out Greasy as well. If Tilted and Greasy weren't early on, like let's say the plane was like from Jones's to Command, you might want to go to Coney afterwards. So take note of what spots are early and what spots you think people are going to go to. And then also take note of where people are likely going to rotate to after that, because by the time you clear your POI, odds are they cleared their POI as well. So you want to try to predict the areas that they're going to filter through to. And this is somewhat difficult to explain, but as you play the game more, you kind of learn where the hot spots are and where people like to rotate. And as zones close, typically the side of zone that is exposed to more of the map is going to be the hotter part of circle. So I should have some maps on here to try to explain what I'm talking about, but if you have a circle that's top right corner, like bugle type thing, the area coming from Coney is probably going to be pretty hot, because that is how most of the map would have to get there. And you can kind of apply that to just every game in general. Like when zone goes somewhere, there's going to be a side of zone where most of the map is going to filter in through. And that's where you want to set up, and that's where you want to be to get a lot of kills. There's this like kind of misconception that getting a lot of kills means you need to push everybody. And sure, that does work. But a lot of times just putting yourself in the right spot will get you a lot of traffic, especially in the zero build mode, and especially with these blimps. Like if there's a blimp that can kind of cover a rotation, I do this a lot, but if there's a blimp that can cover a rotation, you can sit up there and see so much surface area of the map and really cut off a lot of people's rotations and get really easy kills on them. And sure, you're not running around, you're not moving, but you can just see so much of the map from up there. You're more likely to find players that way than just running around and searching like one area at a time. And then when zone eventually does come, you can just shoot yourself out of the cannon towards zone and then start fighting people in zone. So I think controlling the blimps and using the blimps is very important for not only winning in zero build, but getting a lot of kills, because you have pressure over so much of the map. So don't feel like you have to push everything. It does help, but just putting yourself in the right spot can get you a lot of kills in the zero build mode, especially when it comes to holding people in zone. A lot of people late rotate in this game mode. And then like always, like I've said before, in pretty much every zero build video I've made, try to end fights quickly. If you get tags on somebody, you might want to be shockwaving onto them or pushing them with a car if you like completely broke their shield, because getting third partied in the zero build mode is very difficult to deal with. In normals, you can build and protect yourself, but if you're taking a really long time to kill one person, not only is that time that you could have used to be killing other people, it's also time that you could be getting third partied. And the more you shoot, the more you're making yourself a target, and the more likely it is that other players will be able to kill you. So try to end your fights as fast as possible. And if you don't have clear tags on somebody, don't shoot right away, and try to make sure you have clear tags on people. And this goes doubly so for the team game modes. If you and your team can all team shot somebody and just delete them from the game, it makes it much easier for you to win the following like 2v1 or 3v2, 3v4, whatever it is, depending on the game mode. Try to end your fights as fast as possible. Shockwaves are really good for that. And getting good opening tags with the AUG is also really good for that. Or snipers if you're good at sniping. But personally, I don't really use snipers. The next thing that can really help you find people is going to be the compass at the top of your screen. Lots of people don't even know this, but there's red dots that show on your compass when people are shooting. And oftentimes the red dot on the compass will show from a further distance than the audio will actually reach. The same is true with visual audio if you're someone who uses that setting. But the compass on top of the map can be so clutch in helping you find players. And it also serves as a good way to communicate where they are to your teammates. If you see several red dots going northwest, you know there's probably multiple people fighting over there. If you get there, you can third party it, get it in potentially multiple easy kills. And you can also easily call that out to your team when you see the letters next to where the red dots are. So utilize the compass. It is so helpful in finding multiple, like, in helping you find people. If you're ever in a situation where you have like no idea where people are and you're trying to find people, use the compass and it'll usually set you right. And then when it comes to the zero build mode, this could just be me personally, but my personal preference in this game mode is I try to get most of my kills early to mid game and then just play late game to win. And I still usually do get a lot of kills in late game, but if you're forcing in this mode, you're really likely, like we were talking about before, you're really likely to get third partied, and there's not really much you can do with that. So if there's a zone with a really OP mountain or a blimp or an IO tower, you're probably going to be better off just trying to control that and playing to win once you get to late game than you are just running around and pushing people and then giving other people that power position. So regardless if you're just going for wins or high kills, I think controlling the power positions and putting yourself in the best spot to win is always going to be better in zero build. In normals, you can kind of force a lot of fights that you could just protect yourself. If somebody has a better spot than you can build and protect yourself while you're fighting somebody else, especially using the metal walls. But in zero build, if somebody has an angle on you, there's really not much you can do about that, and giving away your position a bunch in game is likely going to get you killed. And at the end of the day, who likes getting 20 kills in a loss? You know, I've had multiple 20 kill wins in Fortnite, and getting a 20 kill loss is very irritating, and getting a 19 kill win is much more satisfying than getting a 20 kill loss. That's personally my perspective on it. So I would say try to frag out early game and mid game and then just play late game to win. And it's probably going to be so that your late game is really easy if you've been fragging out, because you're only going to have people that are like really passive typically. If you're playing aggressive and you're playing to get high kills and you're playing to cut off like the important rotations, the odds of you running into the better players like early to mid game is very high, because most of the good players in the game are probably going to play somewhat aggressive at this point, and they're going to land at those same hot POIs as you, and they're going to be doing the same thing as you. So getting them out of the game actually does make it easier for you to win end game. And yeah, so you don't have to worry about people killing each other as much typically, and you can play it a little bit more passive from my experience. But that is going to be it for this video. There's really not that much that goes into it aside from landing at a hot spot, predicting other players' rotations, which is going to come from playtime, and taking as much advantage of the mobility as you can. It is crazy with these cannons how fast you can travel the map. If you guys did find this video helpful or informative, remember to give it a like, subscribe if you'd like to see more. My Twitch is linked down in the description below if you want to watch me live, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.